Sarah steps into a small restaurant during her trip abroad. The smell of food fills the air, warm and comforting, yet her chest tightens with nervousness. The place feels cozy, the waiter is smiling, but everything around her is in English. The menu is in English. By the way, if you enjoy this kind of story and want to support the channel, just hype this video. It helps YouTube show it to more people and keeps this project growing. And there's also the super thanks button. It's like a little way of saying thank you, sending a suggestion, or even asking for a topic. But, of course, only do it if you really feel this work deserves it. For me, it's already such an honor to have you here watching. Honestly, if you just leave a like and a comment, that already helps me so much. The conversations at nearby tables are in English, and the thought hits her like a wave. Asterisk, how am I supposed to order without making a mistake? Asterisk, maybe you've felt the same standing in front of a situation where, some words you've studied before, but suddenly your mind goes blank. That's exactly what happens to Sarah. She remembers all those times when she wanted to say something in English, but froze. The words stayed stuck inside her head. Her mouth wouldn't cooperate, and the silence felt heavier than any mistake she could have made. Have you ever been there too? Her heart races as the waiter approaches the table. "Hello, how are you today?" he asks kindly. Such a simple question, but it feels like a test. Sarah understands the words, but her voice betrays her. She freezes. 100 possible answers flash through her mind, but none of them seem right. That's the reality for so many English learners. It's not that you don't know anything. It's that fear of saying the wrong thing. That fear of being judged makes your brain shut down. It's not just English, it feels like your confidence disappears in seconds. But this time, Sarah doesn't want to repeat the old story. She takes a breath and reminds herself, asterisk, I don't need to sound perfect. I just need to sound polite and natural, asterisk. And that little shift changes everything. Because here's the truth, most travelers make the same mistake. They translate directly from their own language, word by word, and what comes out often sounds too sharp, too robotic, or just wrong. For example, saying, I want chicken might sound okay in your head, but to a native speaker, it can feel rude, almost like you're giving an order instead of making a request. That's why today we're going to break this cycle. Imagine you are sitting right next to Sarah, menu in hand. The waiter is waiting, and instead of panicking, you and Sarah will go through this together. That's what this video is about. It's not a boring grammar lesson. It's a real-life situation, told like a story, so you can feel what Sarah feels, practice with her, and gain confidence step by step. Here's the promise. By the end of this journey, you will know simple, natural expressions that you can use in any restaurant, anywhere in the world, and not just the typical textbook sentences. You'll hear the real phrases native speakers actually use, and you'll learn how to handle those unexpected questions waiters love to ask, the ones that usually make learners panic. Back to the table. The waiter is still smiling. Sarah feels her throat tightened, but instead of hiding, she takes a small risk. She looks up and says slowly, "Hello. Can I get some water, please?" It's not perfect. Her voice shakes a little, but guess what? The waiter smiles even wider. He understood. That moment is huge because when you speak, even with small phrases, you are breaking the block. You are telling your brain, asterisk, I can do this, asterisk, and you can do this too. Let's practice together right now. Repeat after me. Hello. Can I get some water? Please. Take your time. Now, again, with more confidence. Hello. Can I get some water? Please. Feel how it rolls off your tongue. It's simple, right? But it's powerful because the truth is, learning English is not about being perfect. It's about building confidence little by little, phrase by phrase. Even native speakers make mistakes. The difference is they don't freeze. They keep going. And that's exactly what Sarah is learning to do and what you can learn to. So stay with me until the end of this story. Together, we'll uncover the biggest mistake most travelers make when ordering in English. We'll learn the key expressions that make you sound natural. And we'll even walk through a short step-by-step dialogue with Sarah and the waiter so you can see how everything fits together in real life. For now, let's pause here. Think for a moment. What's the hardest situation you've ever faced trying to speak English? Was it in a shop, a job interview, maybe at school? Hold on to that memory because as you follow Sarah's journey, you'll see how those same fears can turn into confidence with the right words and the right mindset. This is just the beginning. In the next part, we'll reveal the common mistake almost every traveler makes when ordering food and chances are you've made it too. But once you see it, you'll never make it again. So tell me, what's one sentence in English you wish you could say without fear? Sarah is sitting at the table. Her water has just arrived, and she feels a little victory inside. Asterisk, yes, I did it, asterisk, but the next challenge is even bigger. Ordering the actual food. She looks at the menu, trying to decide. The pictures look tempting, but the names are all in English. She wants chicken. She wants something simple, but she's not sure how to say it without sounding awkward. And here comes the trap almost every traveler falls into. They take the sentence from their own language, word by word, and throw it out in English. For Sarah, that would be asterisk, I want chicken. Asterisk, direct, literal, quick. But here's the problem. While it's technically correct, it doesn't sound the way native speakers usually talk in a restaurant to the waiter. It can feel too sharp, almost like an order, not rude on purpose, but without the little details of politeness, it loses the softness of natural English. This is the mistake most people make. They believe knowing the exact word is enough, when in fact, tone and phrasing change everything. Think about it. Have you ever been abroad and said something that was correct, but you noticed the reaction was off? Maybe people looked confused, or maybe they answered in a way you didn't expect. That's exactly what happens when we translate literally. Sarah remembers a time when she said, I want pizza on a trip with friends. The waiter gave her a strange look, and she instantly felt embarrassed. Her friends laughed, not because it was wrong, but because it sounded funny, robotic, like a command. That moment stuck with her. And maybe you've experienced the same. You study hard, you know the vocabulary, You say the words, but somehow it doesn't land the way you want it. It feels like people can hear that you're translating in your head, and inside you think, asterisk, maybe I'll never sound natural. Maybe I'll never get it right. Asterisk. That's one of the biggest pains for English learners, the feeling of being understood, but not fitting in, not sounding real. But here's the good news. The solution is simple. Just a few small changes can make your English sound natural, friendly, and polite without needing advanced grammar. It's not about perfection. It's about learning the asterisk real-life expressions asterisk that people actually use. For example, instead of saying, I want chicken, imagine Sarah saying, can I get the chicken, please? Or, I'll have the chicken, thanks. Do you feel the difference? The meaning is the Samu want to order chicken, but the tone is softer, the style is natural. These little expressions are the secret to sounding confident, even if your vocabulary is small. Let's pause for a mini practice. Repeat with me. Can I get the chicken, please? Again, can I get the chicken, please? Now, try, I'll have the chicken, thanks. See how short and easy they are? No complicated grammar, no fear of making a mistake, just natural, everyday English. Back to Sarah. She looks at the waiter, remembers her old mistake, and smiles nervously. This time, she doesn't want to sound robotic. She wants to sound real. She takes a breath and says softly, can I get the chicken, please? The waiter nods without hesitation, writes it down, and says, sure, anything to drink with that. And just like that, Sarah realizes the power of small changes. One phrase, just a few words, transforms the whole interaction. She doesn't feel judged. She doesn't feel robotic. She feels like part of the conversation. This is where the shift happens for so many learners. When you stop focusing on literal translations and start using the real phrases, you stop sounding like a textbook. You start sounding like you belong, and that feeling, that little spark of asterisk, I did it, asterisk is what keeps you moving forward. Let's be honest. Maybe you've been studying English for years. Maybe you've memorized rules, lists, exercises. But when you stand in front of a real person, all that theory disappears. And you fall back to, I want chicken. It's not your fault. It's how most of us were taught through grammar and vocabulary, but not through real-life situations. That's why this journey with Sarah is different. Here, you learn by living the moment, by feeling the situation, by practicing exactly what you'll need. So, the lesson of today's mistake is clear. Don't translate directly. Instead, adopt the natural patterns. Can I get and I'll have will open so many doors for you. They're polite, simple, and perfect for beginner. Before we move on, let's practice one more time together. Can I get a coffee, please? I'll have a sandwich. Thanks. Now, imagine yourself at a cafe, at an airport, or even at a street food stand. These phrases work everywhere. Sarah smiles to herself. Proud of this small but powerful step, she feels the difference. And she thinks, asterisk, maybe English doesn't have to be so scary. Maybe I really can do this. Dot asterisk, and you can too. Because the truth is, fluency isn't about speaking perfectly. It's about speaking without fear. In the next part, we'll go even deeper. We'll explore the asterisk key phrases that make you sound natural, asterisk, the everyday expressions natives actually use in restaurants, the ones you won't find in a grammar book. And once you have these, ordering in English will feel not only easy, but enjoyable. Sarah takes another sip of her water, still replaying the moment in her head. The way the waiter reacted to her order felt different. It wasn't the same awkward pause she had experienced before. This time it felt smooth, natural, almost as if she belonged there. And that's the power of using the right phrases. Just a tiny shift from, I want a can I get, or I'll have changed everything. Now let's go deeper, because these key expressions are the real secret. They are the phrases that natives use every single day. Phrases that instantly make you sound more natural, more polite, and more confident. And the best part, they're simple. You don't need advanced grammar or fancy words. You only need a few patterns that you can reuse again and again in real life. Think of them like keys. Each phrase is a little key that unlocks a new door in your English. The more keys you collect, the more doors open. And soon, instead of feeling trapped, you'll feel free. Let's start with the first one. Can I get? This is a lifesaver. Short, polite, and incredibly common in a restaurant. You can say, can I get a salad, please? Can I get a coffee? Can I get the chicken sandwich? But here's the beauty. You can use it far beyond restaurants. At a cafe, can I get a latte? At the airport, can I get a window seat? Even shopping. Can I get this in a medium size? It's flexible, practical, and safe. Now the second one, this is another classic. It's simple, natural, and it sounds confident. For example, I'll have the pasta. Thanks. I'll have orange juice. I'll have the soup of the day. The difference between the two is small. Can I get sounds like a polite request, while I'll have sounds like a firm choice. Both are polite, both are correct, and both are used by natives all the time. Then there's the magic word that makes every request softer. Could I have? This one feels even more polite, almost formal, perfect if you want to sound extra kind. Could I have some water? Please. Could I have the steak? Medium rare? And don't forget the little endings, please and thanks. They may seem small, but they completely change the tone. Without them, a phrase can feel cold. With them, it feels warm, natural, human. Sarah looks at the menu again and thinks about these patterns. She smiles because suddenly the menu doesn't look so scary. Instead of searching for perfect sentences, she knows she can mix and match these keys. Asterisk, can I get? I'll have. Could I have? Asterisk, simple structures, but powerful. Let's practice together right now. Repeat after me. Can I get a glass of water? Please? I'll have the chicken. Thanks. Could I have the salad? Please. Say it once more. But this time, imagine yourself in a real restaurant. Feel the waiter looking at you, waiting for your order. Imagine the confidence in your voice as you say it naturally. Now here's another trick natives use. Sometimes, instead of ordering right away, they soften their speech with small expressions like, for example, I'd like the fish, please. This one feels polite and gentle. It's slightly less common than can I get or I'll have, but it's still a useful tool in your kit. And finally, the casual option. I'll take the burger. This one is more relaxed, something you might hear with friends in a casual place. So now you have 5 keys. 1, can I get 2? I'll have 3. Could I have? 4. I'd like. 5. I'll take. Each one has its own little flavor, but they all work. They're short, they're safe, and they'll make your English flow. Back at the restaurant, Sarah is practicing these phrases in her head while waiting for her food. She repeats softly to herself, can I get? I'll have. Could I have? Each one feels a little more comfortable, a little more natural. She imagines herself using them in other places, at a coffee shop, at a hotel, even with new friends. And for the first time, instead of fear, she feels excitement. Asterisk, I can really do this. Asterisk, she thinks. This is what learning should feel like, not pressure, not stress, but discovery. Each phrase is a small victory. Each moment of practice, a step toward freedom. And here's the most important part. You don't need to memorize hundreds of sentences. You only need a few patterns you can adapt anywhere. That's what fluency really is, being able to use simple structures in many different ways. Let's close this part with one more guided practice. Ready? Repeat with me. Can I get the pasta, please? I'll have a coffee. Thanks. Could I have the soup, please? Good. Now, one last time. But imagine you're saying it with a smile, calmly, like you're actually there. That confidence is what makes all the difference. Sarah feels that shift too. She's not just repeating phrases anymore. She's building a new identity. Someone who can walk into a restaurant and order without fear. Someone who belongs. And you can do the same. These phrases are your toolkit, your keys to sounding natural. Hold on to them, practice them, and you'll notice how every conversation becomes easier. But of course, life doesn't always follow the script. And Sarah is about to discover that, because just when she thinks she's safe, the waiter comes back with a question she didn't expect. And that's where the real challenge begins. Sarah sits back, feeling a little proud of herself. She managed to order the chicken with confidence, and for the first time, she didn't feel like a complete beginner. She relaxes for a moment, thinking the hardest part is over. But that's when the waiter turns to her with another question. His tone is polite, his words fast, and suddenly she feels that familiar wave of panic again. For here to go, the words blur together. Asterisk for here to go. Asterisk Sarah blinks. She's not sure what he means. Her brain race is asterisk. What did he just say? Should I answer yes or no? Asterisk, this is the moment so many learners dread when the conversation doesn't follow the script you prepared. You practice certain sentences, you repeat them in your head, but then reality throws something unexpected and everything feels confusing again. Maybe this has happened to you too. You walk into a coffee shop, you ask for a latte, and then the barista fires back with a question you weren't expecting. Do you want whipped cream for here or to go? What size? And in that moment, your confidence shakes. You know the words individually, but when they come fast in real life, they sound like a puzzle. Sarah takes a deep breath. The waiter repeats, slower this time, for here or to go. Suddenly, she remembers hearing this phrase in movies. It means, do you want to eat here at the restaurant, or do you want the food packed to take away? Simple. And just like that, the fear begins to fade. She smiles and answers, a little shaky but clear, for here, please. The waiter nods and walks away, and Sarah feels that familiar rush of relief, that same one you feel after surviving a scary situation. This is the second big lesson of today. English is not always about knowing every word. It's about recognizing patterns, guessing meaning from context, and having a few ready-made answers in your pocket. Because yes, unexpected questions will come, but that doesn't mean you need to panic. Let's explore some of the most common ones you might face when ordering food. The first is exactly what Sarah heard. For here or to go. This is typical in cafes and restaurants in the US. It simply means, do you want to eat at the place or take your food with you? Easy response. For here, please. Or to go, please. Another one is, would you like sides with that? This often comes when you order something like a sandwich or a burger. The waiter wants to know if you'd like extras, fries, salad, maybe soup. If you do, you can say, yes, fries please. If not, simply, no, thank you. Then there's, what kind of drink would you like? Or, what size? These are super common at coffee shops or fast food places. You can prepare simple answers. A small coffee, please? A medium Coke, please? Notice something. The trick is not to understand every single word at lightning speed. The trick is to prepare yourself with a few short, polite responses that work in almost every case. Let's do a mini practice. I'll be the waiter. You be the customer. Ready? Waiter, for here to go. You, for here, please. Waiter, would you like sides with that? You, no. Thank you. Waiter, what size drink would you like? You, a medium. Please? Good. That's it. Short, simple, polite. You don't need long sentences. You don't need to explain yourself. Just one or two words with please or thank you, and you're fine. Back at the restaurant, Sarah feels a little embarrassed at first. She almost froze again. But then she realizes she didn't fail. She understood. She responded, maybe not perfectly, but enough. And that's what matters. Here's the secret nobody tells you. Fluency is not about answering with long, complicated phrases. Fluency is about keeping the conversation alive. Even when you're surprised, it's about having the courage to say something, anything, instead of freezing. And the truth is, native speakers don't expect you to be perfect. They just expect you to try. Sarah looks around the restaurant, watching other people order. She notices something. Even natives use short answers. To go, no, thanks, medium, please. Suddenly, she realizes she doesn't have to sound fancy. She just has to sound human. And maybe that's the biggest shift of all. You don't need to speak like a textbook. You don't need long sentences to sound polite. You only need a few words spoken with calm and confidence. That's enough to survive and even to enjoy the unexpected. Sarah takes another breath and relaxes. The fear that once felt overwhelming is starting to feel like a challenge she can win. And in that moment, she discovers something powerful. Mistakes don't define you. Freezing doesn't define you. What defines you is how quickly you get back up, how willing you are to try again. And now, with her food on the way, she feels ready for the next step. Because learning phrases is one thing, but putting them all together in a real conversation is where the magic happens. And that's exactly what we're going to do next. The restaurant is buzzing with quiet conversations, the sound of clinking glasses and laughter in the background. Sarah's heart is still racing from the waiter's unexpected question, but she feels lighter now. She made it through. She answered. She didn't let the silence swallow her. For the first time, she feels like she's not just surviving, she's learning how to truly connect. And this is where everything comes together. All the little pieces, the polite phrases, the natural expressions, the short responses combine into one simple but powerful skill, having a real conversation. Not a textbook dialogue, not a memorized script, but something alive, flexible, real. Let's walk through it step by step, as if you were right there with Sarah at the restaurant. Imagine the scene. The waiter comes back to take her full order. Sarah straightens her back, smiles nervously, and decides to give it a try. Waiter, hello! Are you ready to order? Sarah, asterisk, deep breath, asterisk. Yes, I'll have the chicken, please. See how natural that sounds? Short, clear, polite. No need to complicate it. The waiter nods and asks, would you like a drink with that? Sarah, yes. Can I get a Coke, please? Again, short and easy. The magic is in the tone. The waiter writes it down, then adds, for here to go. Sarah, more confident this time, for here, please. And just like that, Sarah has survived 3 of the most common restaurant questions. No panic, no freezing, just calm and simple replies. Now let's practice it together. Step by step, I'll play the waiter. You answer, as if you were Sarah. Ready? Waiter, hello. Are you ready to order? You, yes? I'll have the chicken, please. Waiter, would you like a drink with that? You, yes. Can I get a Coke? Please. Waiter, for here or to go? You, for here, please. Good. That's it. You've just completed a full mini dialogue. And the best part, you didn't need long sentences. You didn't need advanced grammar. You just needed the right keys. I'll have, can I get for here, please. Back at the restaurant, Sarah feels something shift inside. The words came out naturally. She didn't sound robotic. She didn't sound rude. She sounded like herself. And that's the moment she realizes that speaking English is not about becoming someone else. It's about finding her voice in another language. Let's add one more step to the dialogue, because waiters often ask about sides or extras. Imagine this. Waiter, would you like fries or salad with that? Sarah, asterisk, smiling now, asterisk fries, please. So simple, right? One word plus, please. That's all it takes. And at the end of the meal, there's one more useful phrase. The waiter brings the food, Sarah finishes eating, and now it's time for the check. She looks up and says, can I get the check, please? The waiter nods. And just like that, the entire restaurant experience is complete from greeting to ordering to paying without fear. Now, let's do the full dialogue one more time together. Imagine the scene. Imagine the waiter's smile. Imagine your voice calm and steady. Waiter, hello. Are you ready to order? You? Yes. I'll have the chicken. Please. Waiter, would you like a drink with that? You? Yes. Can I get a Coke? Please? Waiter, for here or to go? You? For here. Please. Waiter, would you like fries or salad with that? You? Fries. Please. Later. You? Can I get the check? Please. Congratulations. You've just gone through an entire restaurant interaction in English, step by step, without panic, without over. Sarah sits at her table, eating her meal with a smile. She thinks back to the moment she almost froze at the beginning. She remembers the fear, the tight chest, the silence, and now she compares it to the ease of speaking, the comfort of using simple, real phrases. It feels like she's unlocked a door she once thought was permanently closed. And that's what this journey is about. Not perfection, not memorizing endless vocabulary lists, but creating confidence through small victories. Each phrase you learn, each dialogue you practice, is one more step toward breaking the block. So next time you're at a restaurant or a cafe or even ordering takeaway, remember Sarah's story. Remember that you don't need to be perfect. You only need to be polite, simple, and brave enough to try. Because when you do, the fear begins to fade and the confidence begins to grow. And that more than grammar or theory is what fluency is made of. Sarah wipes her hands, takes one last sip of her drink, and thinks, asterisk, maybe English isn't a wall after all. Maybe it's a door. And today, I found the key, dot, asterisk. But the journey doesn't end here. Because after every story, there's a reflection, a moment to look back, to understand the growth, and to feel the transformation. That's where we're heading next. The restaurant grows quieter as the evening goes on. Sarah sits at her table, her plate nearly empty, her glass half full, and her heart surprisingly light. What began with fear-cold hands, a racing heart, that terrible silence when the waiter first spoke, has now turned into something completely different. Confidence, relief, even joy. She looks back at the conversation step by step. The greeting, the order, the unexpected questions, the sides, the check. Each moment felt like a test, but she passed. Not because she was perfect, not because she knew every single word, but because she didn't give up. She found her way through with simple, natural phrases. And isn't that what we all want? To stop feeling like outsiders in our own conversations. To stop freezing when someone speaks a little too fast. To be able to answer with calm, even if it's just a few words. That's fluency, not knowing everything, but being able to connect. Sarah wipes her mouth with a napkin and smiles at herself. She remembers the first time she tried to order food in English years ago. She said, "I want pizza," and the waiter looked confused. She felt embarrassed, ashamed, almost like giving up. Back then, English felt like a wall she would never climb. But tonight, she feels different. Tonight, she climbed over, and maybe you've felt that wall too. The fear of speaking wrong, the frustration of forgetting words, the loneliness of studying alone, repeating phrases into the void, the feeling that you'll never be good enough, that maybe fluency is only for other people, not for you. But if Sarah can break that wall, so can you. Think about it. Sarah didn't need a huge vocabulary. She didn't need complicated grammar. She only needed a few keys. Can I get? I'll have for here, please, keys that you now hold too. With those, you can unlock not just restaurants, but cafes, hotels, shops, any place where English once felt scary. Learning a language isn't about a miracle. It's not about waking up fluent in 5 days. It's about building small victories that add up to transformation, like planting a seed. You don't see the plant growing every day, but one morning you wake up and realize it's stronger, taller, alive. That's what's happening with you right now. Sarah leans back in her chair and reflects. She realizes that every mistake, every awkward silence, every shaky word she's spoken in English was not a failure. It was part of the process, a step on the path, and maybe that's the real secret. Mistakes are not the enemy. Fear is. And the way to beat fear is not to avoid mistakes, but to keep going through them. She finishes her drink, pays the bill, and as she walks out of the restaurant, the cool night air hits her face. She feels lighter, stronger. She thinks, asterisk, if I can do this, maybe I can do even more. Maybe next time I'll have a longer conversation. Maybe next time I won't just survive, I'll enjoy it. Asterisk. And that's the gift you now have too. Imagine yourself on your next trip sitting at a cafe ordering without fear. Imagine the pride of answering a waiter's question smoothly. Imagine the smile on your face when you realize you did it. Not perfectly, but naturally, and that's enough, because fluency isn't the end of the journey. Confidence is, and confidence comes not from knowing everything, but from daring to speak anyway, from taking small steps every day until one day, without even realizing, you're walking confidently in a language that once terrified you. So here's the reflection. English doesn't have to be a wall. It can be a door. And every phrase you learn, every dialogue you practice, every moment you try is another key. Sarah found her keys tonight, and now so have you. If this story makes sense for you, if it gave you hope, if it helped you feel a little braver, then don't stop here. Keep practicing with me. Keep walking with Sarah, because every day you'll collect more keys, and every day the world will open a little wider. So tell me, what's one phrase you wish you could say in English without fear? Write it in the comments, practice it, own it, and if this journey inspired you, give it a like, share it with someone who needs it, and subscribe so you don't miss the next story. Because you're not alone in this. Sarah is with you, I am with you, and thousands of learners around the world are walking the same path. Together, we'll turn fear into confidence, step by step, word by word, story by story. Sarah walks down the street, the sound of the restaurant fading behind her, The night feels different, now full of possibility. She smiles, whispers softly to herself, *, I can do this, *, and so can you.